So in this video, we are going to learn how to create dynamic web pages and redirect user using form submission data. So in this automation, we are going to create an online form using Elementor or any other form building application. And as the user is going to make the form submission, we want to redirect the user to a specific web page, which will be a dynamic web page. And in that web page, we are going to add the form responses which the user has entered as well. Now to create this kind of automation, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. And the best part is you don't need any kind of technical skills to create this automation. Here, whenever we are going to receive a new form submission, automatically we are going to get the form responses and create or generate a dynamic web page using a feature, a module of Pabbly Connect that is dynamic web pages. And after generating the dynamic web page, we are going to redirect the same user after the form submission to the same web page as well using another feature, another module of Pabbly Connect that is data forwarder. Now, if you want to learn how you can set up all of this automation by yourself, for that you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, this is the form which I have created using Elementor. Now I want that whenever someone is going to fill this form and submit it, I want to redirect that same person after the form submission to a dynamic web page. By dynamic web page, I mean the details which they have entered in this form, I want to add those details to the redirect page. Let me show that to you with the help of an example. So the name of the person is, for example, demo user. This is the email address. And this is a dummy mobile number. The city is, for example, Mumbai. Age is, for example, 52. And in previous photography experience, I'm going to enter I'm a beginner. Now let's click on submit. Now as we click on submit, here you will notice that within few seconds, the person who has made the form submission is been redirected to a page. And at this page, you can see we have mentioned the same details which they have entered on the form submission. After welcome, we have the name of the person. Then we have a message that is thank you for registering for our photography workshop. Then we have the same details of the form submission which we have received. We have the same name, email, mobile number, city, age. We have added the date from our end and we have the work experience, the same work experience as well. So we have a message and we have the details of the form submission on the redirect page. Now you must be thinking how I actually did it. How I made the form submission or received the form submission in Elementor and redirected the person to a dynamic web page. So all of this is possible with the help of Pabbly Connect. And to access Pabbly Connect, just go to your browser and search for Pabbly, pabbly.com/connect. And here you will see that we will reach to Pabbly Connect's landing page. And here we have two options, sign in and sign up free. Now, if you're new to Pabbly, by clicking on sign up free, you can set up your free Pabbly account in just 2 minutes. Or if you're an existing Pabbly user, just click on sign in. After signing in, we will reach to this all apps page of Pabbly. Here we just have to click on access now below Pabbly Connect. And after clicking on access now, we will reach to Pabbly Connect's dashboard. And here we have to create an automation workflow, which is a very simple process. Just click on this create workflow button and give this workflow a name. So let me name my workflow as redirect user on Elementor form submission. Redirect user on Elementor form submission. You can basically give any other name of your choice. Then in the next field, we just have to select the folder of our Pabbly Connect account in which we want to create this automation and then just click on create. Now, as we click on create here, you can see the workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we can see two different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on. Where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with the trigger step. Now the idea here is first we have to connect our Elementor form which we have created with Pabbly Connect in the trigger step. So that whenever we are going to receive a new form submission in Elementor form, automatically the form responses will be received inside Pabbly Connect and this automation workflow will trigger. After that, using this Pabbly Connect automation, we are going to send these details to a feature, a module of Pabbly Connect that is called dynamic web page. And using that feature, using that module, we are going to create a dynamic web page and get the link of that web page in the response. So we are going to send the form responses to the dynamic web page module and give the HTML body. And for that HTML body and the responses, it is going to create a web page and give us in the link. And at last, we are going to redirect the user after the form submission to the same link given by dynamic web page module. So it may sound very complex, but it is actually a very simple process. Let me show that to you. Starting from our trigger window in Choose app, first we are going to search for Elementor. Just select it. After selecting Elementor in trigger event from the dropdown, select the trigger event as new form submission. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect give us a webhook URL, and we have to add this webhook URL in our Elementor form. So we will just copy this webhook URL from here and follow the help text given below over here to add the webhook. Now to add this webhook URL, we will just open our Elementor form in edit mode. So on my WordPress site, we have the Elementor plugin and we have opened this form in edit mode. Then just click on this edit form button on the top right corner, and here from the left sidebar, we have this option of action after submit. Just click on it and click on this plus button. In the drop down here, you can see we have a list of different options. Out of all of them, because we want to redirect the user to the dynamic web page, we are going to select the option as redirect. As we select redirect over here, a new option of redirect field is added. Here below that, we have to enter the redirect URL, that on what URL, on what link we want to redirect the person. So here in redirect URL, we have to enter the exact same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. Just copy the webhook URL from here and then paste it over here. But that's not it. We also have to mention the form responses which we have received using this form submission. So we have to add a little bit of things from our form submission to this webhook URL. Let me show that to you on the notepad. So I will just copy this webhook URL from here and I will just paste this webhook URL in notepad. Here, after pasting the webhook URL, we have to mention the form responses or the values which we have received from form submission. And to add those values in this webhook URL, after this webhook given by Pabbly Connect, we have to add a question mark. So on above, you can see this is the URL and this is the kind of URL we have to create. We have the webhook URL over here, then we have to add a question mark, and then we have to basically mention the short code and the name of the fields which we have in our Elementor form. Now you must be thinking how you are going to add these details. It is not very tough. All the details are mentioned in Elementor itself. So here in Elementor, we will just go to this form field section and we have these fields which we have created in this form. Select a field and go to the advanced section. And on the advanced section, here you can see the ID and the short code of the field. We just have to copy this ID from here. Then after that, we'll go to our webhook URL in Notepad, paste the ID. After pasting the ID, just enter the equals to sign, and after that, just enter the short code. Copy the short code from here and then paste the short code, same short code in front of that. After pasting the first ID and the short code, we are going to enter the and sign. So here you can see we have mentioned the and sign over here. Then we are going to go to the second field, that is last name advanced. Here we have the ID of this second field. We will copy this ID from here. We'll paste it. Then we are going to enter the equals to sign. And we are going to copy the short code once again, the short code of second field, and paste it in front of it. Again, we are going to enter the and sign over here. After entering the and sign, once again, what we have to do, we have to enter the name of the third field, the ID of the third field, that is email. So under advanced section, you can see this is the ID. Then we have to write the equals to sign and the short code as well. So in this way, what you have to do, you have to mention the ID and the short code for all the fields which we have in Elementor. I've already created this link, so I'll just copy this link from here and add it in the link below. So we have all the fields and their short codes over here. So we have the field of email. After email, here you can see we have the field of email. Then we have the field of age and all those fields. So you just have to get the short code and the IDs and add it into this webhook URL. After adding this into the webhook URL, this is going to be our redirect URL. So we will just copy this redirect URL from here. After entering all the fields and ID in the URL, in the webhook URL, we will just copy it and paste it over here in this redirect field. So we'll just clear the early value and then paste it. So what we have done, the webhook URL which we have received from Pabbly Connect, in that webhook URL, we have basically added all the form fields and form responses. So that whenever we receive a new form submission, the user is going to get redirected to this link, and it is this same link, this same redirect URL is also going to send the responses to Pabbly Connect. Now after entering this redirect URL, just click on update and we are done. We have successfully connected our Elementor form with Pabbly Connect using the redirect URL over here. Now after this, what we have to do, here in Pabbly Connect workflow, it is showing us waiting for webhook response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get some responses of the form submission from Elementor. So we are just going to refresh this page once, our Elementor form once, and we are going to make a test form submission. Let's see, the name of the person is test user. This is the email address. Then this is the dummy mobile number which we are going to enter. The city is, for example, Bhopal. The age is 25. And in previous photography experience, I'm just writing none over here. You can just write anything else. Now let's click on submit. Now as we click on submit, here you can see after making the form submission, the user is redirected to the Pabbly Connect webhook URL. And here in the URL section, you can see we have the same form responses which we have entered while making the form submission. The same form values are added. Here we have the same name, test user, we have the same email address, then we have the same city, and we have the rest of the details, rest of the fields in the URL section as well. So in this way, you can see the user is redirected and it is showing us the status response as success. This means the data is being sent to Pabbly Connect as well. Now we'll get back to a Pabbly Connect workflow, and yes, here in the trigger step responses, you can see we have received the same form responses. We have the same name, same age, same city, mobile number, the experience, and the email address. So the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. Now let's move to step 2. And in step 2, we want to send the same responses to the dynamic web page module, and we have to generate a dynamic web page from that. So we will just scroll down, come to this action step, and here in choose app, we will just search for dynamic web page module. Just select it. After selecting dynamic web page by Pabbly, in action event from the drop down, select generate webhook URL as the action and click on connect. After clicking on connect, here it is asking us for the HTML content. So using this module, we can just have to enter the HTML body of the web page which we want to generate, and it will generate a web page and give us a link for that as well. Now what you can do, you can just go to ChatGPT or Google Gemini and generate the HTML body of your web page. Whatever kind of web page you want, you can just generate the HTML body for that web page over here. So using ChatGPT, I have already generated the HTML body of a web page. So this is the response which was given by ChatGPT. This is the HTML body which was given by ChatGPT, and I'm going to use the same body. We will just copy this HTML body given by ChatGPT and paste it over here in HTML content field. Now after pasting this here, you will notice that we have basically the HTML body, and this is pretty cluttered data. So let me arrange it. Let me just clear out this data and arrange it in a better way so that it is easy to understand. And it is done. I have arranged this HTML body, the HTML content of our web page, dynamic web page, in a pretty simpler way. Now it is easy to understand. So we have some CSS or some formatting related to the page at the top. Then we'll scroll down, and here you can see we have the content of the page. And in this content, we are going to mention welcome, and after welcome, we are going to write the name of the person. So whatever name the user is going to enter while making the form submission, we are going to enter that same name over here after welcome. So what we have to do, we will be using a process called mapping. And in mapping, we add the data from the previous step to the next step. So we have received the name of the person, the details of the form submission from Elementor in the trigger step where we had the first name. And to add this response of first name received from form submission to this our dynamic web page action step, we are going to map it. And the process of mapping is very simple, as I told you. We will just clear this default response, this placeholder for name, and here in this dropdown you can see we have a list of all the responses received from Elementor of a new form submission. Out of all of these responses, select the response of first name and it will be mapped. So whatever first name the user is going to enter while making the form submission, the same name will be received inside Pabbly Connect, and using this automation, we are going to enter the same name into the dynamic web page on which we are going to redirect the user. And we have to use the same process of mapping for rest of the fields as well. So here in this dynamic web page, we have the message that thank you for registering for our photography workshop. You can basically enter any text, any message of your choice. Then we have the message like here are your details, and here you can see we have another placeholder of name, email, phone number, city, age, workshop date, and experience. So one by one, we are going to enter the details over here. We will just clear this placeholder, and in front of name, we are going to write the first name. We are going to map the first name, that add a space, and map the response of last name. Clear the placeholder, this email in double curly braces, and from the drop down, select and map the response of email. Then we are going to map the response of phone number. Then we are going to map the response of city. So here from the drop down, let's select city. then clear the placeholder of age and map age over here. Here in workshop date, I want to manually enter the workshop date. So I'll just enter July 1st, 2024 as the workshop date because I want to show the same workshop date to all the users. I don't want this text to be dynamic. So the data which we map are dynamic details, but the data which we type, data which we manually enter is basically a static text. And here in experience as well, I want to enter the same experience which we have received from the user in form submission. So from the drop down, let's select the response of experience as well. Now after this, in the HTML body, once again, we have to enter the workshop date over here. So I'll just enter the same date, that is July 1st, 2024. And here it is. So in this way, you just have to create the HTML body of your choice. And after creating the HTML body, you have to map the details of that HTML body, map the details of the form submission over here. After creating the HTML body and mapping the form responses, we will just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. And after clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received a response. In this response, the status is success, and we have also received a link, a URL over here. We will just copy this link from here and paste it in a new tab. And yes, here you can see we have a dynamic web page over here in which we have the same details of the user which they have entered in the form submission. So this means using Pabbly Connect's dynamic web page module, we have created a web page and entered the form responses which we have received from Elementor. Now let's move to the last step, and in the last step, we just have to redirect the user on this same link, same URL which is given by dynamic web page. For that, we will just scroll down and click on this Add Action Step button. And we are going to use another feature, another module of Pabbly Connect that is called Data Forwarder. So we will just search for Data Forwarder and select it. After selecting Data Forwarder, in Action Event from the drop-down, select the action event as Redirect To and then just click on Connect. After clicking on Connect, the first thing it asks us is the redirect URL, that on which URL, on which link we want to redirect the person. So we want to redirect the person, the user, after the form submission on the same URL, same link which is given by the dynamic web page module. So we are going to map this same URL given by dynamic web page in this Data Forwarder action step. Just click here from the drop down from dynamic web page module responses, select the response of URL and map it. After mapping the redirect URL, it is asking us the redirect status. In the drop down, we have multiple options: 301, move permanently, found, see other, not modified, temporary redirect, permanent redirect, and all of that. So we are going to select move permanently 301 as the redirect status, and then just click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see once again we get a response over here that is success. This means we have successfully added this redirected to this Data Forwarder action step as well, and our automation workflow is created successfully. Now using this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new form submission in Elementor, automatically after the form submission, the user will be redirected to a dynamic web page like this, and the details at this web page will be changed with the details the user is going to enter on the form submission. So let's check it. We are going to now test this automation. Once again, I'll just open this same form in preview mode, and this time we are going to enter the details of a new user. For example, the name of the person is dummy user. This is the email address. And after that, this is the dummy mobile number. The city is, for example, Delhi. The age is 30 this time. And in previous photography experiences, let's say I'm writing, we are testing this automation. So this is the description I have given. Now let's click on Submit. As we click on Submit, here you can see automatically within seconds, the next second, after making the form submission, we are now redirected to this particular page. And this page is generated by Pabbly Connect's dynamic web page module, as you can see in the URL. And at this page, we have the same details which we have entered while making the form submission. After welcome, we have the first name, that was dummy. Then we have our message, that is thank you for registering for our photography workshop. Then we have the details like the name, full name, email address, same phone number, same city, same age, same workshop date, and also the same experience as well. This means the automation workflow which we have created using Pabbly Connect, this automation is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new form submission in Elementor, after making the form submission, the user will be redirected to a dynamic web page in which we are going to mention the same details which they have entered in Elementor form. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this automation for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
So if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, or if you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can always write us in the comment box below or email us at support@pabbly.com. Also, you can post your queries on our forum as well. And if you want to check the pricing of Pabbly Connect, you can visit this link. So this is it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.